Are our babies being slowly destroyed by their parents before they even know how to say mama or dada? What are the dangerous side effects of toddlers handling the phones of their parents? If you're the parent of a toddler or you are aspiring to become one someday, you better stay tuned to this episode. Your child's life may very well depend on it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Moments Show with Pastor Funke, the show where you learn something new every time. Awesome. Thank you all so very much. It's wonderful to have you here, my amazing audience. Thank you for being here. And also to those of us that are watching from home, it's a pleasure, a real pleasure to have you join us on today's episode. It promises to be a very interesting and I might say impactful episode. Now, many parents often underestimate the dangers of giving those shiny screens to their babies with the hopes of helping them to stay quiet. Now, we think it's harmless fun, but is it? However, this habit that's formed can quickly become very addictive and lead to your child becoming dependent on those screens. Before we delve deeper into this topic, I'd like us to watch a video that I found online on TikTok, and it speaks very poignantly to these subjects. Just take.
Can I see this? Hi!
Sadly, many parents have reported addictive behaviors in their children, followed by tantrums when they attempt to wean them off our devices. Now, my questions are these: how did we get here? What is the way forward for those children who are already addicted to electronic devices? To discuss this topic with me is my guest on today's show. He has a PhD in behavioral health. He's a child psychologist, registered both in the US and in Nigeria. He's a man of many talents and is here to discuss this subject of your baby and your phone. He's married, is blessed with children of his own, and you're going to be blessed. Please welcome Dr. James Komolafe to the Moment Show.
Thank you. Thank you so
Doctor, you are
very much.
welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so very much.
I almost feel like the video
Yes.
says everything
Says it all.
that we want to say. Now, those parents, and you could see that the two parents were there with the baby. That child is about, 6 months, but is already addicted. Engrossed and absolutely just threw the biggest tantrum because they took that phone
Away from him.
Now, my first question is, how long would it take a child of about Because that child didn't start with that
It
phone
wasn't,
at 6 months.
not at all.
How long?
Rome was never built in a day.
Not, you said it, right? How long does it take to form an addictive behavior like that, even for a child so young?
For a child, you know, they pick things so easily and so naive and all of that. You see, you do it the first time for his own age group and demography. You see, you show him the first time. At first, he will be wary to see what is it. His adrenaline will want to either want to flee, to fight, or to catch fun by it and all of that. So you give him the first time, he goes straight into his cognition. And then the second time, by the time you repeat it the third time, an image is formed in his brain.
Wow.
And so wanting to take it away the fourth time is like doing the child an evil.
Oh, wow.
In his own mind. So it's better not to even go that way. Watching that video says a huge lot. That child was damn used to that phone.
Yes.
And the funny aspect, which is so ridiculous and at the same time very fatal, is the fact that the light, the radiation from the phone gets through into his eyeball straight. As he was revolting and throwing the tantrums, the first batch of it, and then when he was appeased and through the negative conditioning, we call it, the child was given the phone, all the rays were into his eyes. At such a tender age,
yes,
it's very, very ridiculous and bad. That is bad parenting. That is parenting from the other side of the bed.
Yes.
And it won't work. It has so many implications,
Can you
psychosocial,
share some of those
psychosomatically, and biologically, because all those rays are going into his eyes. The parents ignorantly thought they were catching fun by watching the boy throwing tantrums when they recovered the phone from him. But you see, as those rays penetrate through his eyes, it's going to affect the lenses of his eyes. You know, the child is still at his formative stage.
Yeah.
And so everything with him is still tender. He's going to grow up developing itches on the retina. And then so many things, headaches can begin for the child. And you see, by the time the repetitive tendencies comes in, it becomes an addictive behavior. And in addiction, as the child grows up, and the worst case scenario about this child is the fact that he doesn't know the difference between bad habit and addiction.
True.
If he were to be an adult now, you would say, well, okay, this thing, it's like I'm choosing to like it even when it is not good for me. But this child cannot differentiate between the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
And the parents who should know better are just catching fun at the expense of the life of the child, especially as having to do with his eyeballs. Because all those things will go into his brain cells and brain nerves and cause some certain emotional pollution and mental degradation, even as he grows up.
So my next question that you've started to touch on it, Dr. Komolafe, and that is, can this sort of addictive behavior, this habit, can it affect this child's ability to learn as he grows?
So many things will go the wrong order. Because you see, Pastor Funke know that every day, and everyone out there, every day is a behavioral variable where you accommodate the good when you are in definition, the bad when you are in violation, and the ugly when you are in deviation. Now, the pattern this boy is already being taken to is a pattern of the bad and the ugly. This is violence to this child. Violence. Violence is not until you take a cudgel and hit somebody and break the head there and we can see blood. As long as you cause an individual to veer off from the original lifestyle protocol, what is sane, ethical, and normal as far as lifestyle protocol is concerned, once you cause a tilt and a shift from that,
Yes.
that is violation.
That's
and it is violation within Pastor Funke that gives birth to violence on the outside. So this boy is going through a package of violation. He lives in violation, and and that's why he's doing all of the tantrums to say, "Oh, you don't know what you are doing for me. You planted the seed, you got to reap the harvest." And if care is not taken, this boy will go haywire, and then so many things will come to be in his life that
shouldn't even be there.
Shouldn't be there in the first instance.
We're seeing a form of child abuse of sorts.
Gross abuse.
Now, the thing, a lot of Christian parents give these devices, phones, iPads, things like
just
that.
to engage the child.
To engage them. But what they think is that if it's Christian content, so if we give them story of, David and the Goliath,
on the screen.
On the screen.
And not in the book.
Not that it's not harmful, but it's still harmful, although the content is supposed to be good for the child.
But how about the package? You see, Pastor Funke, is not just about the content. We should also look at the container. It's one thing to have a beautiful cup as this, and then the content could be bad. And then you could have a good content and the container bad. So the two must go pari passu. One, what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. So don't say you're going to give your child a good content and the container is going to wreak havoc on the physiology, the psychology, and the psychosomatic lifestyle of the child. Very critical.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation on the vices and the dangerous effects of giving your children your phones. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay, thank you very much for coming back and staying with us as we continue our conversation on this very, very critical issue of giving mobile phones and devices to our children, even as young as 6 months old. So, Doctor, when we were talking before the break, you alluded to the fact that a child like this would have to come to people like you to actually help them out.
To the parents, of course.
Yes, of course. Now, so my question is, have you had to take care of issues like this? And what is it going to take, literally or practically, for a child that's already used to having their phones to be able to control this addiction?
It could be phone, it could be something else.
Yes, yes.
One thing that is basic about habits, bad habits, and addiction is the fact that it corrupts the lifestyle through the neck-up strategy. In fact, we have a cliche in my organization that when you are good neck up, you will be good neck down. And it is only when you are good neck down, you'll be great leg forward. So this child is not being wired to be good neck up. So we have to take the child through therapy.
At what age, what minimum age would a child be able to do therapy?
There is no child that you cannot do therapy on.
Even a baby?
Except that the style differs based on the maturation process and then the age involved. Yes. We call it conditioning. You have to do operant conditioning and classical conditioning. You see which one applies and which one will work best for the child.
Right.
You have to do organized distractions and orchestrations and demonstrations for certain manifestations to co-occur at the same time.
Right.
So
right.
for this toddler, you have to look at what alternative strategy you can build in over time by withdrawing the phone. Never mind the temporary tantrums and all that. But one thing, Pastor Funke, you must know is that many parents are living in denial. Leave that boy, is my child, let him enjoy. It's his father's phone. So parents have to be sensitized to know that what is bad, no matter who succeeds God. This is not good for the child. Those radiation into the eyes of the child are emitting energies. The boy is in an energetic field on its own with another counter-energetic field. So if you have two counter-energetic fields, there's going to be a critical mass of problems and issues there. So parents have to know that this is bad. And if you have been condoning either the telephone or some other dangerous
iPads and
iPad, you just feel, no. Me for one, until my children enters the secondary school, none of them
has a phone.
Has a phone. We bought them laptops and all that, but no connection, no internet. They grew up with computer. But when they got to university and all of that, they could possess phone, then they could manage phone that will not damage them. Because in life, Pastor, we must package to manage to avoid the damage.
Okay.
And that begins from our children.
Yes. Yes. I was so running out of time, and I really wanted to get this in. Now, you had made mention about the rays of,
Yes,
the rays
it goes
into
right
their
into
eyes.
their brain, not just settling on the eyes.
Yes, into their brain.
And that's a distraction. And some cognitive dysfunction in there will start happening.
Yes.
And then it can affect the rate of assimilation. The
Yes.
boy begins to grow up the opposite way and direction.
Yes.
And before you know it, you start going for prayers and fasting and
Yes.
killing demons that are not even aware.
Yes. So the question then that I wanted to ask you, because
Yes.
I've always had the impression that when you hold the telephone,
Even
the
as
mobile
adult.
phone, yes,
Pastor
and
Funke.
as mobile, this
Yes.
is particularly the mobile phone, that there are some radiation that could actually even cause cancers.
That
and
even
things
destroy
like that.
spermatozoa.
Yes.
I think we
And-
should come back for the men who puts their phone, the women who puts their phone here. They are releasing some energetic vibes, electromagnetic induction into their mammary organs. You are not married and you are putting your phone here. You are writing application to danger. It could lead to infertility. In fact, a research was conducted recently in a university in America. I can't readily remember, where it was proven that the spermatozoa of men who usually put their phones here were taken to the lab and tested. And they find that so many of them are nursing already infertility. So before you find that demon out there, the one in your pocket, please handle it. Phone is not meant for your pocket.
Yeah.
And you think you are making guy.
Yeah.
Or as a lady, you have iPhone 38 and all of that. You want to show everybody that you are the latest, so you are causing yourself up, because each telephone call you receive. In fact, we did a research one day, or I read it somewhere, where a man took two phones and an uncooked egg was put in between it. Why he used the one phone to call the other with an uncooked egg in the middle of them. After 9 minutes, the uncooked egg was ready for consumption.
I think I saw that again. We have just literally
So you
30...
cook the vitamins in your brain when
Yes.
you stay glued to telephone.
Yes.
Whether you are a toddler in addiction, like this boy, or the parents of the toddler in addiction,
Yes.
to manifest and multiply and this addictive behavior. So very vital for parents. Please know that what is bad is bad, and when your child is already taken up in addiction, own up to a therapist who will do APC, that will deliver PDP and LP. You want to
Dr.
ask me
James Komolafe. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank
So
you.
the PDP,
Thank you. We are totally out of time. Out of time. Wonderful episode. And all our people, thank you so very much,
Thank you
Doctor.
so very
And
much
let me just say this to all of us out there who are parents. Look, this is, we're making some bit of light fun about this, but this is very, very
so
important. Please help me again. Thank Dr. Komolafe for coming to the show.
stop the bad
you, sir.
habit.
Yes.
It's a bad habit.
Thank you, sir.
Good to be here.
God bless you. God bless you. We're going to take a moment's break and we'll be right back for the art segment. God bless you. Back in a moment. Thank you so very much, our studio audience. We are back to the Ask segment, and we have one question from the studio, so go right ahead and ask your question.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for this opportunity. I want to ask, there's a controversy going on about the music gospel ministers. So by my understanding of the word minister, minister means to serve. And what about, are these people, these ministers that are charging before coming to minister, are they serving or they are not serving? I just want you to advise us and to speak to us, throw more light on that.
Okay, well, I think, well, for sure, the word minister is basically, it means a servant, right? And, but you see, the people that, the gospel ministers, and I think it's just a nomenclature, maybe so that they don't call them gospel singers, right? Because it's sort of contrary. There's a conflict there. If you're a servant and then you're still charging like that, so that's just nomenclature that the church has adopted so that maybe we can differentiate the people who sing gospel music from those who sing secular music. They are all basically singers. It's just these people sing, and they sing for a living. The Bible tells us that you're supposed to be fed from where you minister, right? The husbandman is worthy of his wages, right? I think the issue, if I'm correct about what the conversation you're talking about, is the amount that some of them tend to charge, which is quite high. And what it is basically that we're copying the people in the world, right? We're copying all the big, I don't know, all these, the big stars in Nigeria, the Davido and all these people. And our people then, when we leave service and we want to become stars, we're going to see that happening. So we become stars, we become celebrities, and then sometimes they almost all really have to charge like that, because when you have the celebrity lifestyle is costly, right? It's an expensive lifestyle. You have to fly on private jets and you have to and do all these things. So when our people begin to see themselves as celebrities, they have no choice but to charge like that. And I don't know, there was an episode where we had Dr. Panam Pasipo, who was here and was basically saying that, well, that the gospel music or gospel music ministers, they feel like they're being used, the pastors are using them to draw crowd, which in itself is wrong. If the Lord Jesus Christ cannot draw crowd by himself, why we need people to draw the crowd? So we also are culpable in all these issues. We now, I'm talking about pastors, were culpable. And he was inferring that that's why the gospel music people know that we want to use them to draw the crowd, so they too have to get their own share of what comes into it. I think what every one of us needs to do is to go back and say, am I here to serve God? Or am I here to serve myself? And I think that will be enough for that. All right, so we've had a very wonderful day today with Dr. James Komolafe discussing the issue of your baby and your phone. And clearly, in more than one ways, in more than 5, 10 ways, we are definitely destroying these little ones by giving them the phones. Now, I get it. I've been a young mother myself, and, so you want them to be quiet so that you can have a moment. You want to be able to do this work or do that work. But still, if you don't do the work now, if you put them this, you will do more work later. You do more work when they get sick. You do more work when they get into drugs. You do more work when they get in jail. So you better just, manage it. I didn't have time. I wanted to ask him what are some of the positive ways. Instead of giving them phones, give them crayon, give them coloring book, right? Give them building blocks, A, B, C building blocks. Those are positive things that you can give them that will not bring addiction. Thank you again to my guest, Dr. James Komolafe, and to you, my amazing audience. Thank you very much for being here. It's time for us to close the show. Worship. And until next time when we see you, take care of yourself and God bless. Bye for now.